You wake up and, for a few seconds, everything is quiet. Then the weight drops back onto your chest. Nothing dramatic is happening. Your roof didn't collapse. Nobody died overnight. Your bank account isn't empty. You have a job, maybe even a career path. You drag yourself to the gym. You answer messages. You have people you can text on a Friday night. Maybe someone who loves you. From the outside, your life looks good enough. Better than where you started, better than what a lot of people get. And yet, under all of it, there is this dull, permanent feeling that something is wrong. You move through your day with a low-grade irritation or emptiness you can't quite name. At random moments, in the shower, at your desk, lying in bed staring at your phone, the same question surfaces: is this it? You can't point to one catastrophe that justifies it, but you also can't honestly say you feel alive, deeply grateful, or at peace. So you start to turn on yourself. You remind yourself that other people have it worse, that you sound ungrateful, that you have no right to feel this way. The shame of being dissatisfied with a fine life makes you double down, work harder, train more, stack another habit, consume more self-improvement, as if you could finally earn the right to feel happy. But the feeling doesn't leave. It just hides under more noise. You keep telling yourself you're unhappy, broken, or behind, without ever asking a more uncomfortable question: what if my life is not the main problem? What if the way I'm looking at my life is distorted? Until you examine that possibility, you will keep switching jobs, partners, cities, goals, only to run into the same invisible wall. To see that wall clearly, it helps to watch it trap someone else first. A man your age who did most of what he was supposed to do. He studied something respectable, found work that pays on time, lifts enough to look decent in a t-shirt, posts photos from holidays that other people like. His parents worry less about him now. His friends assume he is fine. But at 2 in the morning, he is lying awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling the exact same nameless wrongness you do. His life is not a tragedy. It is simply separated from him by something he cannot yet see. That invisible distance is the illusion we need to talk about. To Genji was the kind of man his younger self wanted to become. Late 20s, steady income from a job he was good at, not rich but comfortable. He lived in a small but clean apartment, had a girlfriend who genuinely cared for him, trained 4 times a week, cooked most of his meals, didn't drink himself unconscious on weekends. If you photographed his life from the outside, it would look like progress, better clothes than 5 years ago, better habits, better people around him. But when he sat across from his girlfriend at dinner, he found himself scrolling his phone under the table, half reading about other people's lives while she talked about her day. In the gym, he hit new personal records. Rack pulled more than his body weight. But as soon as the bar touched the floor, the satisfaction vanished like smoke. Walking back into his apartment at night, he would stand in the doorway for a moment and feel a gray film over everything. Like the room belonged to a stranger he was pretending to be. Maybe I chose the wrong field, he thought. Maybe it's the wrong city, the wrong person, the wrong everything. In quiet moments, he fantasized about burning it all down, quitting his job, ending the relationship, starting again somewhere else, not because his life was truly unbearable, but because it didn't match a vague, perfect script in his head. The facts were fine, the feeling was not. From the outside, nothing justified the level of misery coiled in his chest. That mismatch between reality and experience wasn't proof that his life was wrong. It was the first crack where the illusion showed itself, the hint that there was a wall between him and a life he was already living without knowing why. You don't have to believe in anything mystical to understand what is happening here. In Japanese, we can call it Fukō no Sakan, the wall of unhappiness. Not a brick wall in the world, but an invisible barrier in the way you see. Imagine standing in front of a clear landscape, mountains, trees, a wide open sky. Now place a sheet of warped glass between you and that view. The scene itself has not changed, but through the glass everything looks slightly dull, crooked, and wrong. Fukō no Sakan is that glass. In Zen and in Japanese culture, there is a deep recognition that much of human suffering does not come from events themselves, but from the frame the mind wraps around them. At some point, your frame hardened into a quiet conclusion. My life is wrong. I am always behind. Something essential is missing. That conclusion now sits between you and whatever you live. A normal day of work is filtered as proof that you settled. A stable relationship is filtered as proof that you are trapped. A modest apartment becomes evidence of failure. The job, the partner, the city are not the wall. The way you had learned to look at them is. Expectation, comparison, and self-story all press together until they feel like solid truth. You forget that. This isn't enough is a sentence in your mind, not a law of physics. As long as Fukō no Sakan remains unseen, you will keep trying to rearrange the furniture of your life on the wrong side of the glass, changing jobs, bodies, and partners without ever stepping through to meet your actual reality, turning an ordinary life into something that feels like a mistake. Only when you see the glass can you decide what truly needs changing now. Fukō no Sakan does not appear out of nowhere. Your mind builds it piece by piece using a few very predictable filters. The first is the comparison filter. You almost never look at your own path by itself. You look at it against someone else's highlight reel, social media, group chats, podcasts, the friend who made it early. The story of the prodigy who scaled a company at 23. Next to all that, your completely respectable progress looks pathetic. A normal salary is nothing, besides screenshots of unicorn exits. A steady training routine feels worthless next to edited physiques. You are not seeing your life. You are seeing a distorted scoreboard designed to make you feel behind. The second is the fantasy filter. Somewhere in your head lives a movie of how your life was supposed to look by this age. How much money you should have, how lean you should be, how admired, how in love. Reality, which is always mixed, never matches that clean narrative. So even when something good happens, it arrives covered in the dust of disappointment. You get a promotion, but it is not as big as the one in your fantasy. Your relationship is warm, but not as dramatic as the one in your head. The third is the judgment filter. Instead of treating single days and single moments as data points, you turn them into verdicts on who you are. One unproductive week becomes, I am lazy. One argument becomes, we are wrong for each other. One rejection becomes, I am not meant to succeed. Regular jobs feel like prison because they are not extreme wins. A kind, stable partner feels not exciting enough when compared to fictional chaos. Small setbacks feel like proof you are fundamentally flawed. These filters run quietly in the background, so the emotion, I am unhappy, feels like pure truth when it is often a reading warped by lenses you never chose on purpose. Fukō Sakan is not random. It is architecture your mind built. There is a part of you that is tired of this. You have read the quotes. You have tried writing 3 things you are grateful for. You have told yourself to focus on the positives and stop complaining. That part of you genuinely wants to feel at peace inside the life you already have. But there is another part, just as real, that refuses to let go of the story that you are missing something crucial. That story is not just pain, it is identity. It lets you see yourself as the hardworking underdog, the misunderstood one, the man who's destined for something far greater later. As long as you are unhappy, you get to believe that your real life is still ahead of you, somewhere else, with different numbers, different people, a different version of you. If you allowed yourself to stand fully in your current reality and say, this is actually okay for where I am, that identity would start to crack. You would have to admit that this is your life, not a rehearsal, and that is terrifying. So you do something subtle. You sometimes exaggerate your dissatisfaction, focus obsessively on what is wrong, or even sabotage good things, just to justify feeling like you are meant for more than this. There is ego in believing your pain is uniquely deep when, by any sane measure, your circumstances are decent. The result is constant tension. One half of you wants to relax and commit to what you have built. The other needs to keep feeding Fukō Sakan so the old story survives. You can't rest into the life in front of you, and you can't trust yourself enough to change it carefully, because you don't know when your perception is lying. Until you confront this attachment to feeling unhappy, every attempt to find peace will feel like betraying who you think you are, and you will quietly rebuild the same wall you swear you want to destroy. If Fukō Sakan is the warped glass between you and your life right now, the reality alignment framework is how you test that glass instead of taking every distorted image as truth. Think of it as 3 disciplines: inventory, inquiry, integration. Inventory is brutal honesty with no poetry. You sit down regularly and list what is present in your life. Right now, people who would answer if you called: the state of your body, the money coming in and going out, the skills you have, the freedoms you take for granted. Not how you feel about them, not how they compare to someone else's, just facts. Most men never do this. Inquiry is what you apply when that emotion surges and you hear yourself think, this is wrong. This isn't my real life. Instead of obeying the feeling, you interrogate it with 3 questions. What exactly is wrong? Compared to what? Who told me it should be different? Often you will find that what hurts is not the thing itself, but the standard you are secretly measuring it against. A body from a filter, a career from a podcast, a relationship from a movie. The last discipline is integration. This is where you deliberately step into one or two parts of your current life as if you had chosen them on purpose. You pick a relationship, a job, a training routine, and for a set period, you stop treating it like a placeholder. You show up to it fully, with the same seriousness you imagine you would bring to a better version. A samurai who keeps fantasizing about a more prestigious dojo stays weak. The one who bows to the dusty floor he trains on becomes dangerous anywhere. Reality alignment is not about settling for less or pretending everything is perfect. It is about finally standing where you are without illusion, so that if you decide to change something, you are moving from clarity, not from the fog of a story that tells you your entire life is a mistake. When you start to see through Fukō, no Sakan, and live by reality alignment, your external life does not suddenly turn into a movie. Your job may still be demanding, your bank account may still have limits, your body may still be a work in progress. But inside, the ground changes. You stop relating to your existence as a constant failed exam. A bad week at work becomes a problem to solve, not proof that you chose the wrong path. An argument with your partner becomes something to repair, not a sign that love is impossible for you. You can feel dissatisfaction without immediately upgrading it into, "My whole life is wrong." You can want more without secretly despising what you already have. People around you pick up on it. They notice that you are hard to rattle. Setbacks irritate you, but they do not send you spiraling into crisis or dramatic reinvention. You become the kind of man who can commit deeply to the path he is on, while calmly adjusting course when reality shows him new information, instead of burning everything down when his feelings dip. This is how samurai walked into battle, aware they could die, yet rooted in the ground beneath their feet. This is what Stoics meant when they said expectations, not events, generate misery. You are not becoming complacent, you are becoming anchored. Your peace and your power are based on reality rather than fantasy. If you insist on being the man who is never satisfied, you will keep choosing in ways that prove story true. Letting that identity die is the price of being someone others rely on when things get hard, because you no longer fall apart when life refuses to match your script. Your life may not be perfect, but much of what crushes you does not come from your job, your body, or your relationship. It comes from Fukō no Sakan, the invisible wall built from comparison, fantasy, and judgment. Buddhism and Japanese thought, language for this long before social media existed, and you have seen how your mind edits reality, how you cling to the story that you are unhappy, and how the reality alignment framework can cut through that story so you can see what is real. From here, there are two paths. On the first, you do nothing. You continue to treat every emotion as truth. Keep rearranging the furniture of your life, and wake up 5 years from now with nicer things and the same heaviness in your chest. On the second, you start training. You choose one area as your dojo work, body, or relationships, and for 30 days you practice inventory, inquiry, and integration there, watching what happens to your experience when you stop half, rejecting the life you already have. If you are serious, declare that domain in the comments as a vow. Feeling unhappy in a life others would want is not proof you are cursed. The wall of unhappiness was built in your mind, which means you can walk through it, but only if you stop worshiping the illusion and start training yourself to see until the glass finally cracks and falls away for good.